JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Eyes of Heaven. It came out about 10 years ago, and lately I've been hearing on the internet some rumblings of people asking for a remastered version of Eyes of Heaven. And really, I just wanted to get my thoughts about the topic. Now, in short form, I could probably tell you, we most likely do not need a remastered version of that. We definitely don't. As a matter of fact, not even most likely, we just don't. The game, at most, I don't see them updating the graphics. I don't see them updating anything. We get 5 new characters, and the 5 new characters are just going to be side characters from random parts they missed, like Foo Fighters. We're going to get Hot Pants, Mikitaka. We're not getting Mikitaka. Wonder of You. Maybe a new Poochie skin, and that's it. They're finna give us one Part 9 character who's just Jodio. We're just going to get Jodio Joestar. Exactly like they did Josuke 10 years ago. It's just going to be Jodio Joestar. Going to be 2 or 3 more Part 8 characters. Like, I just don't see them expanding that much. And on top of that, it's more of a story game. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those games that you really only hop on to play the story. If you really hop on for the gameplay, I would be somewhat shocked. Not even somewhat, I'll be kind of shocked. And really, when people talk about like a new Eyes of Heaven remake, they usually say, oh, the voice actors, we get the anime voice actors now. That's cool. Okay. New dual heat attacks. Cool. Okay. New characters. Cool. Okay. I just feel like the game never called for more. Other than if it was DLC. Because there's no reason to make more. You already have the whole story created and mapped out. What are you going to do? Add the new DLC characters to the story? Hopefully you could do that. Now, let me stop hating though. Because the story was pretty good. I like the story. Pretty sure I made an Eyes of Heaven video on my channel. But I like the story. The gameplay was just a little annoying, honestly. And it's also the fact that like you have to do extra steps just to play multiplayer. I'm just trying to play multiplayer with my friend, but I can't.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now, I will admit, exploring maps and opening up more maps, adding more maps, that's actually something I would enjoy. I enjoyed the maps in Eyes of Heaven. I really did. It was something that I felt like was a plus for the game, the maps. But I also wanted more maps. But then again, I wasn't surprised we didn't get that much from the game because again, it's an anime game. Anime games usually don't get that much. They don't get that many characters. They don't get all that because that costs money. And if that game ain't successful, they are not putting all that in. Why do you think a lot of successful animes get one game and then the company says never again and they never give them a game again until years later when fans are begging, pleading, asking on their hands and knees for a game and then finally they throw them a bone? And if that game's not successful, they never do it again. There's a reason anime companies really only stay within 4 animes, which is the big 3 and Dragon Ball Z. You can't go wrong. A lot of people love them. Hundreds of millions of people love those animes. So you can't really go wrong when you're adding it into the game, even if in that game, you're just giving them the same story over and over and over and over again. Why do you think Dragon Ball games will never die? It doesn't matter if the anime ever comes back. There will still be another Dragon Ball game within the next 5 years. Not even. It probably won't even take that long, but I'm just going to say 5 years. Because everyone loves Dragon Ball. But All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven aren't in the same boat as those big 3 or those Dragon Ball games. And really with the big 3, Bleach literally just got their games back. They just got their games back. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, it hasn't really been successful with games in the West. Now, I'm pretty sure there's like old JoJo games, or there is old JoJo games that were actually pretty good, but they were in Japan, or they just never came to US. Now, me personally, I think Eyes of Heaven, if anything was ever done with Eyes of Heaven, which I kind of doubt, especially now, I feel like we should give it just a remake, a redo, maybe a little sequel, something more, instead of, oh yeah, here's the remastered version with a few new characters and some new arenas. Here you go. Enjoy it for 2 weeks. Cause then everyone's gonna hop on, they're gonna be like, oh shit, we got a new JoJo game, cool, right? And then after maybe a month, everyone's gonna hop back off, and that's being generous. It's really gonna be like a week. It's gonna be a week until everybody hops back off and they just never pick up Eyes of Heaven R again. But a remake intrigues me a lot more because the concept itself isn't that bad. Even the gameplay isn't that bad. It's just a little clunky, honestly. But the story mode, if it's reworked around the new characters that are added in, and then you add in the little bits of, or what's left of part 8, pick a new villain to run the super gauntlet, you know, have everyone still meet each other, it could be a really good game. Honestly, it really could. I think a remake would do it more service than just a remaster. Like, I just don't like the idea of us getting the Eyes of Heaven remaster. I don't. Because then, how much faith do I put in Bandai Namco to actually give a fuck enough to rework the story around these new characters instead of just giving us these new characters and adding in side missions for them to do and never reworking the story around them? And let me also say this, a part of the reason why I don't want just another remake is because we saw what happened with another remaster is because we saw what happened with All-Star Battle R. They gave up on that game so quick. They gave it and then they just said here, and that was it. Didn't make that many changes. It's around the same game you could have gotten 10 years ago, except there's some new characters. And you know, I don't fault it for that, because it's a fighting game. It's a real fighting game. It's not like Eyes of Heaven. Eyes of Heaven, its combat is completely different. Its whole structure is completely different. But All-Star Battle R, it's a fighting game. So like, I can understand that. But really, that's all I got for y'all. If y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we're on the road to 5K, so anything helps. And until next time, peace.